Thank you very much, Bugani. Let me once again warmly welcome Your Excellency, Madame Francia Márquez, Vice President of Colombia, and your delegation. Also welcome Minister Naledi Pandor, our ministers. I see we are joined by Minister Chaveni, Deputy Ministers, Ambassadors, DG, and the whole of our delegation. I would like, on behalf of the South African government, express our sincere gratitude to Vice President Márquez for visiting our country. We know that she will be traveling to Kenya and Ethiopia, but she chose to start here. We are very pleased, Madam Vice President, that you chose to touch base with us first. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, you are welcome. We did chase you away earlier because we wanted to talk quietly. But we can tell you now that we have just concluded very fruitful discussions between our delegations. Vice President Márquez is obviously here to revitalize once more our bilateral relations with Colombia, but in particular the African continent. As you all know, that a big number of people of African descent in Colombia, and we would like that reconnection with the African continent. So this is a very historic visit by the Vice President. Of course, as decided upon by President Petro, and we are grateful, Madam Vice President, that he allowed you to come. The areas that we looked at today, and I'm just going to highlight them briefly. We looked at areas of common interest, including agribusiness, defense, mining, science and technology, sports, arts and culture, tourism, transport, and we are finalizing agreements in that regard. Most of our ministers and deputy ministers are working on these agreements. So the drafts are there, and we have shared our views with our counterparts. They've also indicated where they are on these issues. There are issues that the Vice President raised particularly with a lot of passion on. One of them is that South Africa should participate in the peace process that they are involved in. We have agreed to be part of that. Secondly, the Vice President is very keen that we revitalize tourism between our two countries. Sports, arts and culture, tourism. And one of the things that will ensure that we revitalize those areas is to ensure that we address the issues of visas. So we are working on that. There's a proposal that we should look at how we can ensure that it's not difficult to visit our two countries. So the issue of visas will be attended to. And on the issue of sport, I didn't know earlier, but I was quite interested to know that Colombia is very interested in us sharing our expertise in rugby. They pleaded that we should bring a lot of workers. There are a lot of rugby players in Colombia. I think you said 16,000 players. So we are going to look into that and see how we can promote sporting activities, including rugby. The Vice President told me that she would like Africa to participate in the book fair next year, April, as the guest of honor. So we're going to work on that. But she's also working on a program called She Sport for Africa, where she would like to see African women in sport participating, and she would like to encourage a program like that and host it. So I would like to say to particularly our guests here, the media, that we've had very successful engagement in all these programs. We will be finalizing these agreements. What is more important is that in concluding our discussions, both sides agreed that we are committed and committing ourselves to implement these agreements. We have agreed because we want to see faster implementation. And sometimes when you don't have formal agreements, it's difficult to ensure that you can move forward. So we have now agreed. We're going to finalize these agreements and ensure that we implement. The Vice President has also invited us to come to Colombia as part of strengthening our bilateral relations. We have agreed. We have agreed. We want to strengthen our bilateral relations, but also, most important, people-to-people relations. That is even a most important one for us in the field of culture, sport, as I said. So, Madam President, we would like to wish you a pleasant stay in our country. I'm particularly happy that you visited Freedom Park today, and you will be visiting some of the important cultural areas, but I'm told that you'll also visit Soweto, one of our biggest, beautiful township. I hope that you will be able to have lunch there in the township. So we wish you a pleasant stay here. This is really a beginning of us reconnecting. We are particularly happy, as I said, that you started here. And we want to wish you a safe journey as you move to Kenya and Ethiopia, to be able to have fruitful discussion there. So on behalf of the South African government, I really extend a warm welcome once more to the Vice President and wish her a pleasant stay in our country with the delegation. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Deputy President Paul Mashatile, I would like to take this opportunity now to invite Vice President Márquez to make her opening remarks. Excellency.
Señor Vicepresidente Mashatile, gracias por su acogida en su país. Gracias a toda su delegación de gobierno y saludo, por supuesto, la delegación de nuestro gobierno que nos acompaña. Saludar desde aquí toda la comunidad sudafricana por habernos permitido llegar a su territorio en esta visita oficial. Después de 26 años, Colombia no tenía